Hello, movie lovers. Welcome to MTE Movie News, formerly called Rapid Fire Friday Movie News. But we decided to change the name because it's kind of misleading. We don't necessarily fire through these topics. We kind of take our time, and they ended up being 40 or 30 minutes when we were aiming for 15, 20. So we're just going to scratch that name and just call it MTE Movie News. So welcome. I'm your host, Jacob Bartley, and I'm here with my regular co-host, Gio Ramos. What's going on, man?
Doing good. Happy Force Friday. Oh, wait, no, that was last week. Never mind. Happy Friday, guys.
Which you were absent for.
Yeah, it's busy, but happy Friday, nevertheless.
Yeah, it's all good. Man, such a great time in life right now, you know?
Yeah, football season's back.
Yeah, football,
Star Wars.
fantasy football, and I just saw probably my favorite artist in music last night. His name's Hobson. He's a rapper. I saw him in Funk Volume last night at Ace of Seth Bades in Sacramento. It was so awesome, so much fun. Yeah, I thought my voice would be a lot more sore because I was screaming at the top of my lungs, dancing around. So I'm glad it's not.
Nice.
I was almost going to have you run most of the podcast, but I think I'm fine. So for those of you who don't know, usually on Fridays, our movie news podcast, we run down the biggest movie news topics throughout the week. And I have Gio, put together that list and run them down for you. So let's start. Gio, what do we have first up?
All right, first topic involves Warner Brothers and their upcoming big film, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. So apparently,
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a small film coming out.
Small indie flick.
Yeah, two superheroes who just decided to fight. Anyways, Warner Brothers is requesting more Batman and Batman v Superman. After a early screening that received a standing ovation, one of the highlights of the film was Ben Affleck as Batman. And apparently, according to Humberto Gonzalez from Heroic Hollywood, Warner's is requesting more Batman to be put into the movie and less Superman. Supposedly, Ben Affleck's Batman is so good that he's blowing Henry Cavill's Superman right off the screen. So, what we have here is a little bit of studio interference. Warner Brothers says put more Batman into the movie. Is this a good idea, Jacob?
Well, let me start by saying that I love Batman with all my heart. He's arguably, and he's everybody's favorite, but he's arguably my favorite superhero. But this is stupid. This is idiotic in my opinion. They made the movie. They had their idea. They had their vision. They made their changes already, and it's supposedly done shooting. Why are they stepping in and trying to make changes when the movie's already done? Like, I understand sometimes you have to do that, but now you're altering the story for one character. This is stupid. It's Batman v Superman. And it's even worse that they're saying less Superman by adding more Batman. Mm-hmm. This really worries me. I'm so excited for this movie. It's arguably my most anticipated film of the next 3 years of movies we know that are coming out, other than Star Wars probably. But this is so stupid to me. Like, you're done filming it. You know how your story is. Zack Snyder has a handle on this movie. Just let them finish up the special effects. And if you do need to do reshoots or, like, altering the editing at all to make the film better, and they really think it's going to make the film better, then fine. But don't, Batman was so awesome on this supposed screening that happened where they got a standing ovation from the people who stand to gain from the movie succeeding. No, just... I hope this isn't true, and it really worries me, and I'm scared for the film now. What do you think about it?
Well, I wrote about this on the site. Nowadays, standing ovations, they don't mean anything to me. We
well,
heard
especially
that,
from the studio,
right?
From the people,
what else
the
are they
investors,
do for their own film. They probably 20th Century Fox probably gave Fantastic Four a standing ovation after they fucked it up. But anyways, I don't like this. They had a plan. Stick with the plan. Don't try and alter things at last minute. We saw how badly that went earlier this summer. Yeah, guys, like leave it up to Zack Snyder and Chris Terrio and David S. Goyer to get this film right. Okay, you executives, you worry about money because that's all you guys care about. So I wanted to ask you, Jacob, like, what's your stance on studio interference? I mean, we just saw Fantastic Four get screwed over. We don't know exactly what went wrong, but we hear a lot of things. Are they ever right? Can you think of any scenarios where they were right, or maybe studio interference might have been a good thing to help a movie that maybe was underwhelming? I mean,
well, I can't think of some direct examples off the top of my head, but here's the thing. There has to be an equal balance. So the studios and the director, they meet, they talk about their vision, they sign a contract, and they decide on a movie that they want to make. And of course, you're going to make small changes along the way, but for the most part, stick to that vision that you guys agreed on in your contract when you signed the contract. I don't think it should be way too heavy on one side. I don't think the director should have complete control, nor do I think the studio should have too much say in what goes on. Like example you listed in the show notes is George Lucas with the prequels. Yeah. He had all the power.
Yes.
So 20th Century Fox was behind those movies, correct?
They distributed, but Lucasfilm, all those people involved, yeah.
So, no, it's never good for either side when one has more say over the other. But I just think it needs to be an equal balance. And for the Josh Trank situation, 20th Century Fox came in and they dismantled that whole movie and ruined it. This is kind of reminding me of that, but although Zack Snyder has a lot more pull than Josh Trank has,
right?
He's more powerful, for lack of a better word, and he's already directed Man of Steel. He's a proven director. Yeah. Not that Josh Trank wasn't. He directed a great film in Chronicle, but Zack Snyder is, the Joss Whedon of 2 DC and Warner Bros. Right now. So, I hope that he has a strong enough voice within the Warner Bros. Camp to say, no, the movie's good, or sure, maybe we can add a little bit more Batman, but I don't know, man. Like I said, this is not good news.
Yeah.
It's not.
Because we've recently seen what studio interference can do to a movie,
Yeah.
And I have 2 examples for you, and I want to get your stance on this. The first one, I don't know if you remember, but after they shot Thor: The Dark World, Marvel went in and decided, we're going to do more reshoots now. And we're going to...
With more Loki, right?
More Loki. That was a good call, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because
that made a difference.
While that movie is not the strongest Marvel film, the reason I enjoy that movie is because of Loki.
Loki, yeah.
Those scenes with Loki. I told you this before. Like, it's so awesome seeing them work together. Thor and Loki works together.
Yeah.
And Loki's one of the best Marvel characters, not just one of the best Marvel villains. He's one of the best characters,
No,
period.
I agree. Yes.
So, see, that's the sort of situation where, I mean, I don't know if it was the studio or, I heard
probably the
Tom
studio.
Hiddleston suggested it, and then the studio and Joss Whedon were involved, and they all worked together to get it done, But
more credit to Hiddleston.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it can work out when they alter the movie. It can become better. So maybe, who knows what they're going to add to Batman vs Superman regarding Batman, but maybe it'll make the film better.
Yeah.
So you kind of lessen my worries a little bit, but still, this is a red flag.
Yeah, because the difference is we saw a sample of Loki. Well, we got a good sample of Loki in the first Thor and the Avengers, and so we knew Loki, and they knew that Loki was a good thing. Where with Warner Brothers, they're jumping the gun a little bit because people out there still don't.
We haven't seen Ben Affleck as Batman.
They're
yet.
skeptical about Ben Affleck.
Loki was already a proven character. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And okay, so you guys let us know what you think about that. Is more Batman a good thing for the Batman v Superman overall?
I mean, too much Batman is never a bad thing, but
right.
I don't want it to affect the story and the film.
Right. Yeah, this is a big film. You know? Yeah. All right, moving on. We're going from DC to Marvel. So Rebecca Ferguson is rumored to be Marvel's #1 choice for Captain Marvel. This report comes from Humberto Gonzalez once again from Heroic Hollywood, and he states that Marvel is really, really gunning to get Rebecca Ferguson. They go after these stars who are like
up and coming,
hot. They're hot right now.
And not like a recognizable face. Like Jennifer Lawrence or something.
Yeah. So Umberto also stated he supported this theory, saying last month she took herself out of the running to be the female lead in Gambit. Maybe she's fishing for a bigger part in the comic book, world.
Yeah, lead instead of a side character.
Yeah, and he also said that the story is developing and it's unconfirmed right now, but he has a good feeling about this. She's 31 years old, so like that's pretty young for Marvel by Marvel standards. You got Downey 40, Mark Ruffalo, I think he's close to hitting 40. Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, was like in his in the upper 30s.
Yeah, but
so I mean,
like Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson were all in their 20s when they started those roles, though.
Yeah. So I mean, this 31 is not old, guys. Like,
no, that's like still, perfect age.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, what are the chances that Rebecca Ferguson is Captain Marvel, and when do you expect Captain Marvel's debut in the MCU? Civil War, Infinity War? Will it be sooner, later? Do you think we'll get Captain Marvel soon? But first, what are the chances Rebecca Ferguson's cast?
I have no idea. Mm-hmm. But if I'm just gonna guess, I mean, I guarantee she's on their top of their list. Like, maybe not the #1, but I guarantee she's in the top 3. Like, from my opinion. Mm-hmm. So this is great news. It's not news. It's a great rumor. She was phenomenal in Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
Oh, yeah.
She was incredible. She could have led that movie herself, in my opinion. Like, she was that great. And she's not my #1 choice. I think Brie Larson would be a great choice. And there's other, Emily Blunt. There's other great choices.
Yeah,
but if they announce Rebecca Ferguson as Captain Marvel, I will lose my man. In
a good way?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'll be so excited.
Cool.
I'll be ecstatic, man. That's incredible. She's phenomenal. But there's also other names that I'd feel the same way about.
Yeah.
As far as Captain Marvel's appearance, I don't think we're gonna see her until the Captain Marvel movie, which is in between Infinity Part 1 and 2, I think, right?
2018, Infinity War, 2007. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so. I know this theory has gone around before. I don't remember who said it, but this is my theory. So her powers are alien from I forget the race. I think it might be the Kree. I believe so. We might be wrong. We're not comic experts.
Correct.
We need Jake here, man. This is why Jake is on our podcast. He should be here. Shout out to Jake Berlin. So yeah, Captain Marvel. So I think she's gonna get her powers from the events that happen in Infinity War Part 1, because we're gonna see Thanos. I mean, we better see Thanos in Infinity War Part 1.
We have to, yeah.
So you know what this is thrown around. This is used as an example so many times, but I think Infinity War Part 1 is gonna be like the Empire Strikes Back. I know it's usually the second film, like you could say Age of Ultron, but Age of Ultron was dark, kind of. But it was more lighthearted than you would think, than the trailers portrayed it as.
Yeah.
Because it's Infinity War Part 1 and 2, so it's in between something, right? So we're going to be left with a cliffhanger with either a character dead or a character captured, could be dead, we don't know yet, in the sense how Han Solo was captured in Empire Strikes Back. So I'm just using that as an example. It's going to be a dark film. I think some shit's going down. So, and I think during Infinity War, something's going to happen where Carol Danvers gets her powers, but we're not going to see that until the Captain Marvel movie, they're going to show us what was happening to her while the Infinity War was going on.
Okay.
And then it'll jump to modern day where she's like in a coma and wakes up with her powers. Mm-hmm. So that's when I think we'll see her in the Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah, I do like that theory. Look, if Rebecca Ferguson is cast, awesome. You know, she's hot right now. You know?
Yeah, I've only seen her in one movie, but that's enough. She was great.
Right, yeah, that was quite a sample size. Any chance they reference Carol Danvers in Civil War?
Maybe, because she's like a military. She's a military woman.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I think there could be a reference like I know this sergeant from da 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 da. You know, like
yeah.
So who knows?
Oh, okay, guys, and let us know your speculation on when do you think we'll see Captain Marvel in the MCU,
and if you would like Rebecca Ferguson as Captain Marvel, if they did indeed announce it, let us know in the comment section.
Okay, and next up we have a first photo from the upcoming Bourne 5. That's the title of it. The next Bourne film in the Bourne franchise. The first photo showed Matt Damon looking pretty fit, and looks like he was wrapping his hands like he's about to fight, or maybe he just got out of a fight, who knows. But producer Frank Marshall tweeted the photo, and from what we know so far, the film starts in Greece and ends in Las Vegas, according to Damon. The film will be set in a post-Snowden world, exploring politics and espionage. And other than that, all we know is some casting news. We have Vincent Cassel, who I know from Trance, as the villain. Sorry. And Alicia Vikander is going to be starring. Julia Stiles returns, and Tommy Lee Jones will also be in the film. Paul Greengrass is directing. And so, Jacob, you saw this first photo. What do you think about it? I mean, it doesn't reveal much, but I mean, what do you think?
It looks awesome. It looks like he's been in hiding. He looks very scruffed up. He looks like a badass. Is all I gotta say. I mean, it doesn't tell us anything. I mean, actually, it kind of does tell us something about the story. We know he's not shacked up on vacation in Florida with a woman living the life. He's down and dirty and hiding somewhere, and he's in the midst of trying to hide himself or in a war, something like that. So it's exciting because we're going to see what Jason Bourne has been up to and where he was during the events of Bourne 4, the Jeremy Renner one. Right. So I want to see where they're going to take Jeremy Renner's character, though, because I didn't mind. What was the title of that movie?
Bourne Legacy.
Bourne Legacy. I liked him with Bourne Legacy. I really did. And I think Jeremy Renner, when we already know this, he's a formidable action star. He's been in Mission Impossible movies, the Avengers films.
Yeah.
He's a great action star. But I hope the idea of them coming together in another, maybe like Bourne 7, because I would like to see this Bourne movie just Matt Damon,
right?
Then maybe a Bourne 6 with Jeremy Renner again, and maybe at the end of that they run into each other, and then the next one is with them together. I think that would be awesome.
I mean, yeah, everyone's asking for
hypothetically
a crossover between Jeremy Renner and Matt Damon. And fans are certainly happy to see. We're all happy to see Matt Damon return as Jason Bourne with Paul Greengrass directing, who did Bourne Supremacy and Ultimatum, the second and third film. So I want to ask you real quickly, how much of an impact does, let's say, because Matt Damon is going to be starring in The Martian later on this year, what happens if that film sucks? Does it affect Bourne 5 in any way?
Not at all.
Okay.
I don't think so, because Matt Damon, he is A-list actor. He's A-list talent. He's one of the best in the business. Everyone knows this. he has dramatic chops. He has comedic chops.
Mm-hmm.
He is an action star. He's phenomenal. One film, even though he's the lead, and that movie's gonna rely a lot on his performance, I don't think that's gonna affect it at all. Not one bit.
Okay. Well, I mean, for me, it's like, okay, he's had Elysium, which I like. You know, a lot of people were kind of in that. I did not like his cameo in Interstellar. Spoiler, guys, it's been out for like a year now. And with The Martian, if that film sucks, I think what we have here is a case of a very good action star going back to what he, you know, is good at. You know, sort of like Vin Diesel going back to Fast and Furious. This is all, you know, like if the Martian sucks, which I'm not. It looks good by the trailers. I think it's revealing a little too much. But the trailers look good. It could be a return to form for Ridley Scott, who has been more missed than hit lately. So I just wanted to, you know, throw that out there. Like, you know, what if this film sucks? You don't think it'll have an impact on the film? I don't think it'll have an impact on the film, but it'll be one of those cases where an actor goes back to doing what he's good at, which is Jason Bourne. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. You guys let us know what you think of the photo. Matt Damon, how excited are you for this film? And what do you think about Jason Bourne being in a post-Snowden world? Is that interesting? Is that the right direction for them to go? Let us know in the comments. All right, moving forward. We have a brand new trailer. It's the first trailer, actually, for Demolition. Demolition stars Jake Gyllenhaal, and this is going to be his third film releasing this year, next to Southpaw and upcoming real-life story Everest. So let me get the synopsis for Demolition, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. So Demolition. Davis, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, a successful investment banker, struggles after losing his wife in a tragic car crash. Despite pressure from his father-in-law, Phil, played by Chris Cooper, to pull it together, Davis continues to unravel. What starts as a complaint letter to a vending machine company turns into a series of letters revealing startling personal admissions. Davis' letters catch the attention of customer service rep Karen, played by Naomi Watts, and amidst emotional and financial burdens of her own, the two form an unlikely connection. With the help of Karen and her son Chris, played by Judah Lewis, Davis starts to rebuild, beginning with the demolition of the life he once knew. And this film is directed by Jean-Marc Vallée. Let me pronounce that again. Jean-Marc Vallée, who directed Dallas Buyers Club and Wild. So, Jake, you saw the first trailer. What do you think about Demolition?
I love this trailer, man. Jake Gyllenhaal, I've said this plenty of times. I've always liked Jake Gyllenhaal, but he is becoming one of my favorite actors, period. Like, you know, he might be in my top 5 working today, and rightfully so. He's one of the best working today, so he deserves that. But as far as this movie, I didn't even know this movie was coming out, honestly, until the trailer dropped. I didn't know about it. Talk about a hard-working man. Jake Gyllenhaal this year had Southpaw. He has Everest coming out, and this movie. 3, a big boxing movie, which was pretty damn popular. I think Everest is going to do pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
And this is going to be like his Oscar contention for this year, if it's worthy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I didn't even think of him in the race, but now it's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Because he got freaking snubbed last year. And I don't throw the word snub around a lot, like some people, but he was definitely snubbed. Because I saw all the best actor performances. A few of them shouldn't have been on that list.
Yes, you did.
He should have, along with David Oyelowo. But regardless of that, this film's very interesting. It's very unique. it's heartwarming yet funny, but not too funny. Well, I'm saying how it looks.
Right.
I haven't seen the film, obviously, but I'm very much looking forward to it. It's skyrocketed to one of my most anticipated because I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I love Naomi Watts. She was phenomenal in Birdman, right?
Yes.
She was great, and she's a great actress no matter what. And she's beautiful. But yeah, so I'm nothing but thumbs up for this trailer, man. I can't wait for this film.
Yeah, I think you nailed it when you said Oscar potential, because you look at the director and what he did for Dallas Buyers Club and Wild. He got two incredible, very different performances out of both McConaughey and Reese Witherspoon. And I'm excited to see what he's able to do with Jake Gyllenhaal. You know, this is a very different character for him. Not so much that, you know, in his last film he lost his significant other. In this film he loses his significant other, but he's a very different character. Than what he was in the previous film. And you know, the cast looks great. You have Gyllenhaal, you have Chris Cooper, and you know.
Chris Cooper, what a phenomenal cast! I'm so glad you brought up the director. I didn't even think about that because, dude, he directed McConaughey to his Oscar-winning performance.
Yeah.
He directed Reese Witherspoon in Wild, who got nominated for Best Actress, but too bad she was going up against Julianne Moore.
Right.
Those movies were both great films.
Yes.
So this looks phenomenal. We're definitely going to be hearing about this film come Oscar time.
Oh, yeah. For those of you who haven't checked out the trailer, you can check it out on our site. I wrote up about it, and let us know what you think as well. Okay, moving on. We have news about Ronda Rousey. So, according to a report from Variety, Ronda Rousey is going to step into Patrick Swayze's role for the new Roadhouse reboot. Rousey, alright, she's not regarded as a good actress, but right now she's hot. You know, her name is out there. People know who she is. She's at the peak. Well, I don't even know if she's at the peak of her, fighting
popularity
career.
As far as her athleticism and her work in
Hollywood is
fighting.
Taking advantage of that. So, what do you think about her stepping into? I won't say iconic role, but a memorable role. For a Roadhouse reboot. You know, they're changing the sex of the character. I assume it's going to be the same story, just a more modern update of this bouncer, kicking ass throughout the whole entire film and, helping to get this bar, back to being, good. So what do you think about Ronda Rousey for a Roadhouse reboot? Can this work?
Okay, at first, I was like, no, stop trying to put Ronda Rousey, stop her trying to become an actor, but that's not fair. That is not fair at all. You could have said the same thing about The Rock. Could have said the same thing about Arnold Schwarzenegger when he first started. He was just a bodybuilder, right? Mm-hmm. So, I've totally changed my mind in the last 10 minutes. Because I just thought of it before I knew this topic was coming up, and I just thought of it.
Yeah.
Give her a shot, because she needs to be an action role. So we all know Arnold Schwarzenegger is he's not a Broadway performer. He's not an Oscar performer. He's an action star with limited capabilities as far as acting goes, especially, he's getting better. I've heard he was good in that film Maggie, but I think she could fit in these action roles where she doesn't have to talk too much and she can just display her physical abilities and just be an action star and just drop those one-liners, And I think she should model her career after Arnold Schwarzenegger, just like that. I wouldn't say The Rock, because I think The Rock is actually a really good actor now. Mm-hmm. He has so much charisma, and I think there's no telling. She could develop into that. She could become a great actress. Anyone can work hard at anything and become great at it if they work at it and put their mind to it. So I was a hater on her, and I don't think she should be leading any dramatic roles anytime soon. But as far as action roles go, give her a shot. Like, why not?
Okay, I mean...
But I didn't address the actual movie Roadhouse. Sorry about that, man.
No,
Sorry to cut you off.
Okay. No,
so I haven't seen the film.
Okay.
But you told me about it. I don't know if they have to do a remake. Like, I'm all for remakes, reboots, and sequels. I'm all for them. But I don't know, why not just like do a new action movie starring her? They just want that name recognition as Roadhouse, which whatever, it doesn't bother me that much. But you can probably speak better on it. Her stepping into the role. The premise seems. I like it. It's not too big. It's not like military woman going to save the world. It's just like it's a small contained story, and I like that. So I think this is a good stepping stone for her in her acting career.
Yeah.
Because I don't know much about the movie.
Okay. So I just saw Roadhouse last night, actually, for the first time. I loved it. It's very 80s. Take it for what it is. It's a fun ass-kicking movie. But for the first act, Patrick Swayze doesn't have that much dialogue, I noticed. So if you can apply the same thing to Ronda Rousey, like use her carefully, you can make this reboot work. I mean, just, make it about her kicking ass, and that's probably the best, part about her, being on screen. This Roadhouse reboot is years from happening. She has another film coming up called Mile 22, beginning production in February. The film stars Mark Wahlberg and is directed by Peter Berg. Now, Peter Berg directed The Rundown, which was one of The Rock's first films. And The Rock, I mean, I love that film. It's a fun film, and The Rock's performance was not the problem at all. I mean, like, he did good in that film. And so, also, Peter Berg directed Battleship. And you know who was in Battleship? Rihanna. And I was going through, because I haven't seen Battleship, all the reviews and everything scared me away, which is wrong. I should watch the film, but I mean, it's just, I got other stuff I want to watch. But Battleship, from the reviews that I read, Rihanna gave a good performance, and she doesn't have that much acting experience, but Peter Berg is a guy who can get performances, and use people who don't have much acting ability, in ways in which they give good performances. And what's funny is I ran across someone's review on Rotten Tomatoes who also praised Rihanna in Battleship, and that was Jake. Jake was, I'm scrolling through Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm just like, Jake Berlin.
What was it, just a comment or something?
It's like a review.
Oh yeah, because I think if you're a member on Rotten Tomatoes, like you just sign up for the account, you can write your own little review, and it's not like he's employed by Rotten Tomatoes. It's just anyone can go write a review on there.
Right.
But that's weird.
I thought that was funny. I was just like, Jake Berlin.
Did you text him about that?
No, I didn't text him. I was hoping he'd be on today so I can call him out on that.
He couldn't make it today, man. He's moving.
Yeah.
And we're not helping him. What good friends we are. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but Jake loved Rihanna in that movie. So, wow. I mean, Peter Berg, I think he's going to, make Ronda Rousey, because her performances as of lately haven't been that strong. But I think he'll be able to help her and, kind of, give her some tips and improve her as an actress in this next film, Mile 22. So there's that, and a few years down the road, she might become a better serviceable actress. So I think it can work. Sorry guys, I know I'm going off on this, but I'm trying to figure out ways that
no, that's a very good point,
this
dude.
Can work. So
especially a director that has worked with people who are trying to become actors, athletes, The Rock. That's a great thing that she's working with a director like that.
Right.
Because he has experience with that, and that's freaking awesome.
If he can get a good performance out of Rihanna, he can probably do it with
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Ronda Rousey. And guys, those of you who saying, you know, like, trashing her, this and that, let's remember, all right? She's not, you know, we've had terrible performances in the last couple of years from people who are not actresses. For example, I mean, this is all from one film, but you had Nicki Minaj, you had Kim Kardashian, who was in a Tyler Perry movie.
The other woman. Oh, but Nicki Minaj was in The Other Woman.
And Kate Upton as well. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
So Ronda Rousey is not on this level, though, that level of actresses. I think she's above, and she has something more to offer. So, you know, we'll see. I think this Roadhouse reboot can work. You know, it's not coming out next year or the year afterwards. You know, she's still very busy. So later on down the road, I think this can work out. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts. What do you guys think? Have I convinced you about Ronda Rousey and the Roadhouse reboot, or is it still a stupid idea? Let us know in the comments. All right, moving on. We have a first trailer for the upcoming Christmas horror comedy, Krampus. I just saw this trailer right now, and I'm going to get your opinions on it first. But, okay, the film stars Adam Scott, David Coenter, Toni Collette, and Allison Tolman. It's a horror comedy directed by Michael Dougherty, who did Trick or Treat. He also has writing credits for X-Men 2 and X-Men Apocalypse.
That's interesting.
Yeah. What do you think about the first trailer for Krampus?
I'm 50-50. There's elements of the trailer that I really like, and there's elements that I don't like too much.
Right.
Is this a comedy spoof, or is it a dark, twisted horror film?
It's
I don't know. I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm not asking you. I'm saying that is the question that the trailer presented.
Gotcha.
So I'm confused, and I know you're probably gonna bash on Adam Scott. I actually thought he fits in this role. I don't mind him as, I don't know if he's the dad or something, but I don't mind him. It's weird. It felt like two different movies. I'm very excited about the premise of this film. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you said this, but for those of you who don't know, Krampus is basically like the anti-Santa Claus.
Right.
He's basically the devil to Santa Claus, you know? He comes out and I don't know how to explain it. He attacks the non-believers of Christmas, you know? Terrorizes the non-believers with all his little helpers and minions and all these Christmas creatures that come to life in a horrific way. That excites me. And when you see his hooves like do and like the horns, I love that. And I love the little, even though I hate clowns, I love that clown at the end. That's creepy as hell. God. I love that stuff. But what I don't like is the seems like slapstick, like doo comedy which is gonna be in it. Like I don't know what we're getting from this film. I'm still very excited for it. Like I love horror movies. I love original good horror films, and I'm very much looking forward to this film. It didn't change my excitement. It just threw like a wrench in my expectations for the story and the tone of the film. So I hope it's not too cheesy with the comedy. That's all.
You know, when I saw that clown with the mouth open, I thought of Blade 2 and those creatures who, you know, opened their mouths. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, the clown thing.
Yeah.
That was so creepy.
I was like, whoa. Yeah, this trailer is it's horror, but like borderline, you know, like it's borderline to where it's like, you know, like straight up horror, you know, like
it reminds me of like it seems like Kevin Smith directed it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It reminds me of like Tusk. Like the tone of Tusk.
Oh god, that was I haven't seen that movie, but I've seen
I'm just saying photos. Neither have I, but I'm saying the tone of the movie.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it has just enough comedy in there to be one of those, you know, horror comedy things. And for the record, I am actually not gonna bash on Adam Scott.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I mean, every time I think of Adam Scott, I mean, yeah, he did Step Brothers, but fucking Hot Tub Time Machine 2. God. I know it wasn't his fault.
He's good as a supporting character.
Yeah.
He's not gonna. Even though you could say he's the male lead of this film, it's not gonna all focus on him. I think it's gonna focus on the little kid more than anything. He's gonna be a supporting character in this movie.
Yeah, I like him in this role. Am I excited about it? Not really, because I mean, this thing is not really just my cup of tea. And it's just for me. But I mean, it's a film that I'm gonna go in and like something that I want to watch. I'm not.
Yeah, I love dark, twisted stuff. So
yeah.
I guess that says a lot about me.
Yeah, you guys check out the trailer online. It comes out December 4th, 2015. It'll be a nice change for all the holiday movies and whatnot coming out. So, yeah, check it out and let us know what you think in the comments. All right, moving on. We're going to talk about a film that has made a huge impact this year, and I'm talking about Furious 7. Releasing on Blu-ray next week, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. What are your thoughts looking back on the film and all the success it's had regarding Furious 7?
I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but I don't think it's the strongest of the series. I didn't think it was when I first came out of it. It is what it's supposed to be. It's a over the top action film with those one-liners and those very unrealistic action stunts. But hey, that's the whole point of movies.
Yeah.
Is to show us stuff that we don't see in everyday life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, of some movies, that's the point of some movies. So, I enjoyed Furious 7. I'm happy for its success. I'm always happy for anything or anyone to succeed. It's just what I loved about that film is the send off for Paul Walker. They handled that so beautifully. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't cry, but I wanted to cry.
Got you feeling some emotions.
Exactly. That was so beautiful. The way they had them pull up next to each other, and the music, and the way they split roads and show they're going, and Paul Walker's riding off into the sunset. Like that was so beautiful. That's the highlight of that movie for me.
And it's what you look forward to in the movie. It's all you're thinking about.
And I'm very, very sad about Paul Walker and the fact that we're not going to see him in these movies anymore. But, stuff happens and we have to move on and always remember, but we have to move on. So that's what stands out to me about Furious 7. But it made $1 billion, right?
$1.5 billion.
Holy crap buckets.
Whoever thought, it could make that much.
I mean, I definitely think Paul Walker, his last screen moment or screen time in these Fast and Furious movies had something to do with that, but I don't think it was all that. I think it's just the brand recognition of the name itself. Those ensemble cast, The Rock, Vin Diesel,
the last two films,
all the characters, the last two films. It's riding on a high right now, so I'm good. Like, it's not even in my top 10 movies of the year. It probably won't even be in my top 20, but I enjoyed it as a fun action film. It's definitely a film you go to see in theaters, and I'm happy for its success. I'm always happy when things succeed, so kudos. I'm not going to be buying the Blu-ray, though.
Well, what if the Blu-ray, and I want to ask you this because I'm curious too. How much do you think the Blu-ray extra features will include Paul Walker's unseen footage, maybe interviews from the cast about the whole process? Like, what if the Blu-ray includes?
I didn't even think about that.
A whole bunch of unseen footage, Paul Walker interviews Paul Walker did maybe during the set, some test reel footage, and not test reel, B-roll footage, a whole bunch of unseen Paul Walker stuff. Do you think they'll include that? And is that the point to where you're like, okay, maybe I'll buy this Blu-ray?
I do. I think they will include some of that stuff. I mean, I want to see that stuff, definitely. And me, I'm not for downloading or anything like that or illegal pirating. So
yeah.
I would never watch it on in a situation like that. But I don't know, What I think I would do is, so my youngest brother is a huge Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah.
It's probably his favorite franchise. He loves cars.
Yeah.
We used to watch the first and second one like over and over and over again as kids. And what I would probably do is like buy it for him for Christmas or something like that, and then watch it myself, like with him, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, totally, for sure.
I definitely want to see that stuff if it is on the Blu-ray.
I hope it is. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about, man. You talk about like flying off the shelves. You know, Blu-ray is like unseen Paul Walker footage. Like, you know, make it memorable. And like,
I hope they don't like use that in the marketing to sell Blu-rays though.
No, probably not. They'll probably hint at it, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, deleted scenes,
but not like that. Shouldn't be the headline of the Blu-ray. You know.
No. You know, so I mean, we'll see. And you know, like with Furious 6, they might, you know, do some kind of, you know, part of it will go to proceeds of Paul Walker's charity.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
See, that's awesome.
Yeah, and just my quick take on the Furious 7. You know, what a fun film. You know, like there was like, for something that tragic to happen halfway through production, you know, we didn't know what would happen. You know, some people were saying they should scrap the movie, some people saying, you know, they should postpone it, you know, or whatnot. And they went through, and a lot of credit to director James Wan. This was his first action film, you know, a guy who did, you know, horror, small indie films, The Conjuring. You know, like this guy really had a colossal task in front of him.
Oh yeah, definitely proved that he can handle a big blockbuster, and that makes me excited that he's directing Aquaman. Right?
Oh yeah,
he's directing Aquaman, right? That's those spectacles in that movie are going to be incredible.
So the action sequences, you know, the camera flipping upside down, that kind of stuff. You know, Kurt Russell. You know,
he was awesome. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
he was freaking awesome in that movie.
Oh man, I remember I was on a Furious 7 craze. I wrote so many freaking articles on Furious 7, and I called it the best of the franchise. Okay, looking back on that, I'm gonna say it's not definitively the best of the franchise.
It's up there.
But I'm going to put it right on par with Fast 5. Like, it's right there for me. Like, they're both at the same level. Like, 1A and 1B.
That's cool.
And moving forward, I'm going to call that the Furious 7 effect, where looking back on a film, maybe I was just on a high, you know, like, you probably get that.
Well, that happens a lot, too.
Yeah, so for me, that's the Furious 7 effect. Okay, so... Yeah, but I mean, congrats, 1.5 billion. It was really the start of, you know, us looking at Universal and the year they've had so far with Jurassic World, Furious 7, Minions, right? Universal.
Yeah,
Minions.
Dude,
they're having a monster year.
They've had
50 Shades of Grey.
$3 billion films or 2?
3 now.
Fast 7.
Jurassic World.
Oh my goodness.
And Minions.
Just like Fox won the studio, like making the most money last year, Universal or Disney, because we got Star Wars coming out.
Star Wars, yeah, but
who knows?
Man, but regardless, like, what a year for Universal.
Oh yeah, kudos to them.
Not one comic book film. I mean, you could say Fast and Furious is turning into a comic book because all these people are like
blockbuster, you know. But yeah, good for Universal.
Yeah, so Furious 8 coming out in a few years, guys. We're excited about that. We're curious to see where they go from here. So yeah, let us know if you're excited for Furious 7 on Blu-ray. Do you plan on buying it? Your thoughts? Where does the franchise go from here? Let us know in the comments below.
All right. So before we move on to our open mic segment, I just want to do talk about a little behind the scenes stuff going on at Movie Talk Express. So we're making a few changes. We're going to start doing our open mic segment on the Movie News Podcast, which you guys may have known that we used to do it on our regular weekly MTE podcast. So here's the changes that are going on. So those of you who listen to us regularly might know we do we just started our Padawan podcast last week, the All Star Wars podcast. We do a monthly Comic Hero Talk podcast, which is basically just us geeking out on comic book movies. And then we do our MTE movie news. We were doing it weekly, and then our regular MTE movie podcast. So here's the changes going on. It's been kind of getting like a little overload with all the editing and everything. So what we're gonna do is we're still doing MTE movie news every Friday, and we changed it from Rapid Fire Friday movie news to just MTE movie news. We're doing the MTE movie podcast from now on once a month, and we'll put now that we're doing it, we're gonna put a lot more focus on that one episode. It's gonna have an engaging topic, like and we're gonna put a lot more thought into it. And then twice a month we're gonna do our Padawan podcast. So every 2 weeks we'll do a Star Wars podcast, and then still once a month we'll do our Comic Hero Talk podcast. And coming up in that Comic Hero Talk playlist, if you notice it says movies and TV. I am a huge comic book TV fan as well, and I'm in love with shows like Flash and Arrow, and I'm looking forward to shows like Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow. So in that Comic Hero Talk playlist, I'm gonna start reviewing some of the upcoming Arrow season and the upcoming Flash season, and if I like Supergirl, I'm gonna review Supergirl as well. So just a little house cleaning. I just wanted to get all that stuff out of the way. So with that being said, let's jump into our open mic segment, which is going to be part of the MTE movie news from now on. So this week, Gio has a subject for us regarding open mic. So Gio, what is your open mic topic?
Okay, for open mic, we are going to talk about movies with open endings. Me and you got into a conversation yesterday, which kind of gave us this idea. We were talking about, Birdman's ending, how we don't know what happened. I mentioned Titanic because I watched it over the weekend, because that's what I do. I watch good movies. And how that one kind of has an open ending, So, specifically, these movies are left for audiences' interpretation. They don't definitively tell us where the characters stand or whatnot. They leave it up to us to guess. So I want to ask you your stance on these type of movies, and which ones worked for you and which ones didn't. And I'm going to give you some examples of. I'm going to throw out some movies with open endings, and you take it from there. So we have Titanic, we have Birdman, Interstellar, Saw 1, The Dark Knight Rises, The Grey, Prisoners. So all those are movies that, for me, their endings are not so definitive, what happens next. So, your stance on open endings and, if you want, your speculation on some of these movies that I mentioned.
Okay, so
yeah.
Typically, I don't like open endings. Just the idea of them is lazy to me. But they can be done clever, but there are examples where it has worked. There's a lot of examples, in my opinion, where it didn't work. So let me explain why some of them are lazy to me. So I feel like the director is like, how do I want to end this film? Or the writer, it's not always the director writing the film. The filmmaker, the writer, the director, the producer, whoever's involved in the story and how it ends. They're trying to be clever. They're like, ooh, I can be clever with an open ending, and it'll leave people shocked, like, oh, what happened? But as far as when I think it's lazy, I think, like, I don't want to explain how this ended, so I'm just going to leave an open ending and let the audience try to figure it out. And I don't like that, because I'm not satisfied when I leave the theater. I don't want to guess what happened. I want to know what happened. I don't like that typically. However, when it's done creatively, it can really be really good. That's the thing. When it works, and it's phenomenal, and it gets my mind going, and I love it. So it's very, very, very hit or miss for me. Like, that's a perfect example for hit or miss. Like, for example, this might make Gio a little mad, but I did not like the ending of Birdman. So, warning, Birdman has been out for over a year. So, if you don't want to know anything, spoiler alert for Birdman. Okay, you ready? Let's go. So, Birdman, I love that movie until the ending. I absolutely love it. It's as close as you can get to a 10 up until the ending for me. So, there's a lot of guessing going on in this movie. Is Michael Keaton's character crazy, or is he really visioning all this stuff? Does he have some mystical powers in real life? We don't know, right? So, or is he just insane? So to me, at the end, basically, he jumps out of a window from the hospital, and so he either died and hit the floor, or he went up flying, because we see Emma Stone, right? Emma Stone?
Yes.
We see her, his daughter.
Yeah.
She runs to the window like she's scared, and then she looks around and she looks up and smiles as if he's really flying in the air. So to me, yes, they did establish that she's crazy and she has a drug problem. She's a drug addict, but they never established anything that she's delusional. Like, she sees stuff and she's delusional. They did not establish that. But that can go hand in hand with somebody who's crazy and has a drug problem. But they did not establish her being delusional. They established Michael Keaton being delusional, obviously. So for me, he jumps out the window, and we have no idea what's going on, whether he hit the floor or if he's flying in the air. And sure, if they established that, if they showed a scene where she's seeing stuff and talking to herself, then it would make sense to me. But they did not establish that. So she looks up and smiles, and the movie ends. Dun dun dun. Did he fly? Was he flying? Was he really Birdman? Did he really have powers? Or was she just crazy and he died and she was delusional and saw him flying? Again, I don't think that's an example of someone being lazy. I think Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Sorry if I can't pronounce that very difficult name. I don't think he was being lazy at all. He's a great filmmaker, especially from seeing that movie. That's his only film I've seen. And
you're excited about The Revenant too.
Yeah. The Revenant, man. It's my second most anticipated film for the rest of the year after that little film called Star Wars. Yeah. But I did not like the ending of Birdman. It brought the movie down from a 9.5 to an 8. And that's a huge dip. A whole 1.5, that's a huge dip. So it just goes to show how much I did not like it. It didn't make sense to me, and open endings aren't supposed to make sense, but I thought he missed with that, dude. It wasn't lazy. I appreciate the effort. A+ for effort, but did not work for me. Okay. So that's my little rant on Birdman. So open endings in general, I don't like them, but they can work. What were some of the films you mentioned?
Give some speculation for other films.
Okay. The funny thing is, Prisoners. I did not like the open ending at first. I think this was the movie. Remember I told you I was trying to think of a movie where I liked the open ending?
Yeah.
This is the one that I liked. So, when I first saw the movie, I was mad because I was like, no, don't end like that.
Spoilers.
Please.
Here we go.
I mean, I'm not really going to say what it is. I don't want to go into detail. I've ranted on it long enough. But I was like, no, because I hate open endings. I always have, unless they really work. But after thinking about it, and it's been years since I watched the movie, I've thought about it, and I think that ending is brilliant. Because, all right, when the movie starts, Hugh Jackman's character, he's not a bad guy. He's just a father. He's a good father, but we all know, this is not a spoiler, from the trailers, his daughter gets kidnapped. He can't find his daughter. She goes missing. And in the events of him losing his daughter and trying to find her, he does some terrible things. He
borderline, okay,
psychopath. Yeah. Like, he kidnaps a kid that he thinks did it. Not a kid, but a young guy who he thinks did it, and is torturing him, like brutally torturing him. And I understand you lose your daughter, but like he became a bad person.
Oh man, dude, when he trapped him in the shower and turned on the hot water,
Hugh Jackman was great in that film. He should. I don't know who was nominated that year, but that was an Oscar-worthy performance in my opinion. So he became a horrible person through the events of that film. And so fast forward to the end. Okay, maybe we're arguing a little bit of spoilers, but oh well, the movie's been out for like 2 years. Fast forward to the end, he gets trapped in this place where they were holding his daughter at one point. Right?
Yeah.
And it's a very it's gonna be hard to find him unless you do find him. But isn't the whistle? So there's a whistle in the movie, and I believe the whistle is in the.
It's his daughter's whistle, and he finds it in his pocket.
Okay, so he's trapped in this underground thing where there's a car sitting on top of it, and he's gone missing by the end of this film. Nobody can find him, but Jake Gyllenhaal, the detective in the film, is looking for him, right? And the movie ends with is he blowing the whistle when the movie ends?
Yes, but it's very
you can barely hear it. And Jake Gyllenhaal's just looking around and he can't hear him. And then
he thinks he hears something.
And the movie ends.
Yeah.
I thought that was brilliant because it's like you got what you deserved in a way. Even though, yes, you were passionately, it's your daughter, she's gone missing, you've been looking for her. You got what you deserved because excuse me for
cursing. It's okay.
You tortured a man who you weren't, even though you were convinced 100%, you didn't know if he did it or not. And turns out, even though he was involved in it, or did the kid know?
Which one?
Did he know where the girls were?
No, he did not know. Mm-mm.
Are you sure?
No, yeah. I've seen that film. Yeah.
I thought he was involved in it, but he didn't want to go against his adopted mother.
Did he?
Yeah, I think he knew, but he was so scared of her that he didn't want to go against her. He feared her more than
you're
anything.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know.
No, you're right.
I gotta rewatch that film, even though it's brutal to get through. It's very it's a great film, but it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
Similar to 12 Years a Slave, it's hard to watch, even though it's a great film. So I just thought that was brilliant. That wasn't lazy to me because there's a definitive outcome that you can calculate in your head. Okay, either he dies down there or Jake Gyllenhaal eventually, or somebody eventually finds him because he has the whistle. So that way you can see an outcome. With Birdman, you don't know whether, okay, you can say either Michael Keaton's on the floor dead or he's flying. You can say that, but you don't know if Emma Stone's character is crazy or not. So, in the end, open endings, don't use them to be lazy. If you don't know how to end your movie and you're like, oh, let's leave it open, let the audience figure it out. If you're going to do it, make sure it's right and you got all your tracks covered and it makes sense, then they can be great. Gio, I know you typically like open endings, so how do you feel about them?
Well, all right, here's my thing. I'm a little more for it than you are. I think it takes the experience of the film outside of the auditorium. It expands outside of the movie theater because now you're conversing with people and
you're thinking about it for days.
And it makes in my opinion, it kind of helps the movie because, conversation.
And then maybe you want to go watch it again because you're like, wait, did I miss something?
Right.
And then you go watch it again. See, it's not a bad tool.
If it's done right. And I'll give an example of a lazy. The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, yeah.
Hands down.
One of the best filmmakers working today, too.
Yeah. And, I have another film that's an open ending, Interstellar. But, The Dark Knight Rises first. So, spoiler, come on now. The movie's been out for years. But, so, Bruce Wayne is just sitting in a cafe the most popular figure, one of the billionaires in the world. He's sitting in, he's presumed dead, but he's sitting in a cafe with
Anne Hathaway, Catwoman, Selena Scott,
and Michael Caine, Alfred is sitting in a cafe, and he looks and he sees them, and it's just like, okay, all right, and then the most obvious thing happens. All right, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Robin, okay, and then he goes to the Batcave, and then the Batcave or I guess the platform goes up, and it's like, he's like, okay, he's obviously going to become the Batman, or is he? Is he going to become Batman or Robin, or what's going to happen? Is he going to,
he's going to continue the legacy of the Dark Knight, is what they were implying.
Right, but the execution was just so lazy. They threw everything in there at once. I mean, missing pearls.
He was a cop, but he's no Bruce Wayne who was trained by the League of Assassins and stuff like that. No,
this is the guy who, in the earlier part of the film, shot someone. So
I mean, he's a cop.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't. I just thought that was like lazy, but I mean, I could see what he was trying to do. Trying to show that the Batman will live on, someone else will take up the mantle.
Yeah, see, that's not bad, but I agree. That it was a little lazy, like they didn't develop a relationship. Oh, I trust this guy to become Batman now. Like, you barely knew him.
He's like, if you're gonna do this, wear a mask or something like that. Yeah. It's just like, well, okay, too much right there. Not subtle enough. And then Interstellar. He spins the what's the thing called? What's
the top?
There's a name for it. Yeah. All right.
In the movie, but to us, it's like a top, right?
Yeah. We'll call it top. So he spins it, and you see it move a little bit, and it's just like, what's going on? What's gonna? Is it a dream?
So you thought this was lazy?
No, I thought that was good.
Oh, okay.
I love that. No, I was just giving an example of like Christopher Nolan.
Dude, like all of Christopher Nolan's films are open endings. Like almost all of them.
Batman Begins, turns the cloud around. No, that's not really an ending. That's more of a tease.
I haven't seen Memento, but I heard Memento has an open ending.
And does Interstellar have enough?
Kinda, yeah.
Well, yeah, actually it does, because he sets out to find Anne Hathaway, but you don't know if he's gonna find Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
it kind of more sets up for a sequel, I guess.
I don't think there will be one.
Saw. How about Saw? At the end, he cuts off his foot, and he leaves. But then the guy gets up from underneath. There was a guy underneath that dead body. Remember, that was sitting in the middle of the room?
Oh, yeah,
one guy inside, one guy on the other side. And then he closes the door. He's like, no. And it's like, does the other guy get out? What happens?
Yeah.
That was an open ending as well.
I didn't mind. I thought that was pretty clever.
Oh man, for the time, dude, Saw when it came out.
But then they tried to get too crazy with the the twists and the open endings.
Right.
But the first one, I love the first Saw. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm still sad about that Asian cop dying, man. But yeah, I mean, open endings. They open mic.
Open mic.
I love open mic. Yeah. Open endings. They expand the experience of the film beyond the movie theater, beyond the film, and it creates a topic for conversation. Now,
can I ask you a question though?
Sure.
So I know you love Birdman. It's probably your favorite film of the last couple of years, right? One of your favorites
since The Social Network, probably.
Okay, so you've heard me talk about the open ending and how I dislike it. Not just on this podcast, but you hear it from me all the time.
Yeah.
God. So I know you disagree with me, but can you see where I'm coming from at all?
I absolutely see where you're coming from.
Have I changed your mind a tiny bit? Or maybe opened your eyes a little bit?
You make me think about it more.
Which is maybe even makes you appreciate the film more, maybe.
Yeah, you make me start to look for answers to try and just answer your questions, which I do have answers, but I mean it doesn't.
It's all speculation.
It doesn't give a definitive conclusion. But I see where you're coming from. You are not wrong for open endings. They sometimes they're hit or miss. They don't work for people. Some people they love it. They don't mind it. But it is a type of filmmaking, I guess. Like directors they intend to have the stories be that way. Now, whether it works out or not, that all depends on how you present the story, the film, and how you move forward with it. So, you're not wrong for how you feel about, open endings, So, yeah, that's just our take on it, guys. Let us know, how do you feel about movies with open endings? Are you for it? Are you against it? Which ones work? Which ones didn't? Give us some examples, of some movies. And, let us know what you think.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for MTE movie news. Sorry, guys. We went on a little bit longer than we anticipated, but that open mic subject was worthy of
that was fun,
discussion
guys.
That
sorry,
we had.
not sorry. Okay.
Yeah, not really sorry, but who cares? We'll cut up the video for you if you have a low attention span. Just kidding. All right. Well, I'd like to thank Gio for co-hosting with me today, man. Where can they find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter at GeorgiaRamos24 and Movie Talk Express every day.
And you can find me, the host of MTE Movie Talk videos, whatever you want to call us. Jacob Bartley. You can find me on Twitter at Jake Ryan Bartley or anywhere else, Jacob Bartley. And please don't forget to go to our site for the latest movie news, reviews, speculations, MovieTalkExpress.com. You can also find us on Twitter at MovieTalkEX and Facebook, Movie Talk Express. And please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you like anything that you've heard today. And if you are subscribed, hit that like button. And thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week.